Hello everybody, I hope you're having an excellent day as usual. Today I'm going to talk about the essence of meditation, because meditation is something that we all start doing and start practicing, and sooner or later we'll start asking the question, am I doing meditation? Am I improving my meditation? Did my meditation go well? Am I taking out of my meditation something that is useful? All of these questions start arising, which is just the attempt to qualify meditation in some way or another. And so the essence of meditation answers all these questions because we know what meditation really is. Now, it's interesting that we can actually explore this from the other side, what meditation isn't. And meditation isn't a state of reflection, or, to put it in more mundane terms, to be involved with the thoughts, to be absorbed by the mind. So that is not meditation. And we are coming from that state naturally because we haven't been taught to understand the nature of ourselves, the foundation of who we truly are, in which we find the essence of meditation. And I'll talk about this in a little bit. But that's what meditation isn't. Is to sit down. You see, if you look up the word meditation, it would be defined as reflection, sitting with one's thoughts, to ruminate with thoughts. And that's not meditation. That's not really what it is. And so if we want to achieve that which is true meditation, then we need to find what that stillness is. And if you have been paying attention to these videos, then you have noticed that the stillness is not something that the mind will achieve, because the mind is movement, so it cannot be stillness. However, there is a state prior to the mind which is always there, is a prerequisite for all movement, which is the stillness of consciousness or awareness. When we are able to make this distinction between mind and consciousness, then you can see what stillness really is. And it's not a state of the mind. Stillness is awareness itself, which is always still. That's what you are. So recognizing this brings us experientially to the state of meditation, to understand what meditation is. And so to sit with one's thoughts is not to sit and reflect with them, get involved with them, or try to repress them, but simply to sit with them as they go through. It's like you're sitting on a bus and everything that you're going through, the landscape is seem to be moving around you. See, but you're static in the bus. That's what meditation is, if I can put it in a way. You see, so when we realize that what we're not is this activity of the mind, these thought patterns that we associate ourselves with, and return to source, then meditation is simply our natural state, because we return often enough to reside there and to be there, as opposed to going there as a means to try to cope with whatever situation is happening in our lives. And meditation is not something that you do, but something that you are. That's something you have heard before. Now you can understand why, because what you essentially are is not this activity, this movement, this constant thinking, but actually that which precedes, that which actually enjoys the thoughts and the situations and the interactions, and it has no preference. You see, because awareness, being what we call stillness, is simply that which allows everything. Here is where we find absolute acceptance, which is a key concept to understand how healing happens and to know how to return to the self, this unconditional self that loves and accepts everything. That is what we're attempting to reinforce in meditation. Now, the way in which you can achieve this and it's not even an achievement, but in which you can return to yourself, varies a lot. And that's why we find all types of meditations. And you would find mantra meditation, which is a way in which we narrow our focus down to one single element, one objective part of reality, which is our mantra, and everything else just fades away. Sounds and lights and anything else that is in our environment simply dissolves, and all we have is this one object. Whatever it is, it could be a sound that we produce mentally, it could be verbally, it could be an image, it could be anything. But at some point, that mantra needs to be taken out. And what are you left with? Nothing. That nothing is awareness. Because it is not nothing, it's just no thing. It cannot be objectified. It's simply presence. It is life in its primal state, pure awareness. We can do this also with focusing our attention, for example, on the flame of a candle. And you focus and narrow all your attention down to that, and eventually that stops being something. It simply is a pattern in front of you, and you have returned to source, as it were. You're not returning. You are realizing, you are revealing that that's what you are prior to it. You can do this with all types of creative meditations that we can do. You can do like the Sufis, who repeat their names until it just becomes noise without meaning. And so you're left again in that void. But that void is you, is what precedes everything. And the power to just simply return there is exponential. Every time you return to source, it starts building in you. It starts to make a change that we dare not speak about, because we will create expectations, as always. But that is the essence of meditation, is to remember who you are. Remember what is prior to your experience. You don't have to go into meditation to solve patterns or to try to do anything. That is the mind trying to be reflective and trying to do things for the sake of improvement and moving along in a line of advancement and whatever other tiers and steps it wants to go through. All of those need to be, if they are part of your practice, they need to be dissolved, they need to be taken away, so you can eventually just reside in that which has no objective qualities, which is you. It's pure awareness. You can also see this is why, especially in Zen, it is in certain schools of Zen, like Zoto Zen, there is the emphasis of just sitting, just simply sitting, and whatever happens, it's what's happening. You're no judge, you're not pretending to do anything. It's just simply there. You're relaxing enough, but keeping yourself awake enough as well to be able to witness whatever's happening. And for the thinking mind, this can be very disturbing at first, because the thinking mind wants to know what's next. Okay, so I'm relaxed, what's next? And what to do? So that would be the monkey mind, always talking, and that needs to be observed too. We need to just pay attention to whatever it is that it's doing. Try to not get involved, or not try, because there is no try. Just simply there, and if you get involved, you get involved. When you realize that you were involved, well, guess what? You just came out of it, celebrate it. Most people chastise themselves for it and say, oh, I got distracted. Well, it should be a moment of celebration, because you realize that you were distracted. How could you realize that you're distracted if not by taking a step back into your being? You see? So every moment in meditation should be cherished. And there is no wrong way to do meditation. There is no distraction in meditation. Otherwise you wouldn't know it. You see, it's always a celebration of returning to source when you become aware of whatever it is that's happening. Every single thing that you become aware of, that's a celebration. And so we only give the pointers to say, pay attention to the distraction that you're usually accustomed to. You see how when you sit, you think that you have to think. And so you go on doing that. So by simply remaining still in that presence, then that is meditation. The last thing that I'll say is that I don't prescribe formal meditation to anybody, although it is encouraged, for sure. It is suggested that you sit in meditation, but it is not required to me, because you can become aware of your being in the midst of experience. In fact, you should. Even if you practice very stern and disciplined meditation, it is of very little value if you don't apply it in your life, if you don't have an integration process in which you are in the midst of experience having meditation, or simply what we call contemplation. You see? And yet I will make the emphasis that, sure, the beauty of sitting in meditation, and this is in my experience, is that you become aware of more subtle patterns of your thoughts. You become aware of more things that are happening in the back of your mind, as it were, and even deeper portions of it. You become aware of all these things. Not that they are useful for anything unless you make use of them, but because that expands your capacity to be aware. So the essence of meditation is not something that is achieved through a specific practice, nor is it a state that is outside of this present moment. It is what's always been there, but has been ignored in favor of what meditation is not, which is reflection, or moment-to-moment thinking and building upon the other thoughts, which creates cyclical patterns in our lives. This is why meditation tends to bring change, because we break those patterns without even knowing it, without even trying it. They just happen. So my recommendation is that you, once again, everything seems to boil down to become interested in what the foundation of what you call I is. What am I? That is the only question that needs to be answered, because all the other questions will be answered with that. That's all I got for today. I hope this was helpful, especially for people who struggle with meditation and still want to know what true meditation is. This is the best explanation I can give today. It'll probably improve in the future, as always. The more we talk about it, the better we can explain it. But it goes down to the same thing. If I can just summarize it, put it in a nutshell, should I say, is to become aware of who you truly are. I hope you have an excellent rest of your day, night, and I'll see you in the next video.